Yes, Christmas came early this year as the Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, is yet again on strike. Now, primarily only within video gaming, which is unfortunate. I would really hope to see this extend to all actors and screenwriters and everybody again, because the last time, a year ago now, this whole strike thing happened, we saw a brief but beautiful stop in mainstream entertainment, and boy, if only we could make that into a common occurrence. If anything, once a year is just not enough. Could we at least make this, twice a year? 3 times? Something? We must be able to expand upon this somehow, yeah? You'd think. But anyways, what's going on this time then? Well, it's pretty much the same thing as last time, where last time, of course, they were arguing over more like benefits, etc., but a large part of the conversation was about the involvement of artificial intelligence within the production of video games on a larger scale, and of course movies and television and entertainment in general. So, what's interesting here is, yet again, they didn't actually arrive at satisfactory terms, at the very least within video game actors here, to feel that they were adequately protected against the advancements of AI. Now, the amusing thing here is, of course, that the industry already uses a lot of AI, and the people within the industry are actually championing the usage of AI as a tool to make their own lives easier. There are, like this article here, so literally from yesterday, is about screenwriters talking about how AI is a fantastic tool for them to do their job easier and lazier. But see, the issue is, my good friend Raging Golden Eagle, which will be on the ArchCast this week as well, he's dead on correct here when he says, when they use AI to do their jobs for them, it's fine. When that employer figures this out and gets rid of the middleman, them, it is wrong. Yes, 100% accurate, because the job of acting, whether it be voice acting in terms of video games or real-life acting, or even just like motion capture animation stuff, all of this stuff is, well, threatened by extinction. Honestly, the mocap dudes are probably going to be the last to go. But things like voice actors and real-life actors, well, so first on the chopping block, voice actors, absolutely. Because we already have the ability to create AIs that can make pretty damn convincing speech, and it's only a fairly small leap from there to creating AI that is capable of acting, of creating 3D models for which to convey emotions. And once you can do that, there really isn't that much use of actors left, because you can then get the exact performance you want on basically the first try every time. And if you want to adjust something, you don't need to do a massive reshoot, you don't need to reset all of the effects, etc., reset the scene, all of that. You can simply just, pull it back on the editing a little bit, increase the frown lines on their face or whatever else it is you wanted to do, and tell your AI, hey, okay, I want the lens flare to be like slightly different angle here. Like, okay, there you go. It will massively ease the process of creating entertainment. And again, ideally speaking, this will also democratize the process, allowing anyone and everyone to create their perfect, epic piece of entertainment with exactly the actors they prefer, looking the way they like, doing the roles in the way they prefer. Now, there will still be a crop of actors used by the absolute upper echelons of entertainment creation. There will be the virtuosos, those who can, through improvisation or feedback, elevate a product beyond the imagination of its original creators. The first Joker was an excellent example of this, where Joaquin Phoenix actually managed to pull off a lot of the more striking scenes as acts of improvisation or acts of feedback that he gave to the director. Now, incidentally, the Joker 2 is gonna be terrible. I've called this already, I'm gonna call it again. I watched the recent trailer once I went to watch Deadpool and Wolverine the other day. It is going to be Harley Quinn the movie. Mark my goddamn words. Primary indication, Harley Quinn's no longer a psychiatrist. Why? Well, you can't have Jokers seduce Harley Quinn, because that reduces the woman's agency. She he is going to have to be the one who defines him, because it's 20 motherfucking 4. And you know I'm right on that. But anywho, returning to the actual point here, yes, there will be a very small crop of people who will actually be able to still continue to be real-life actors, and having them in your movie will be a sign of prestige. There's even probably going to be a little cottage industry of people using real-life actors for that more authentic feel. Like how people still today buy hand-blown glass, for example, or special jewelry created by some designer or other, or hell, even the entire idea of designer clothing shows us that there will always be a market for custom-made paraphernalia, where you have the advantage of saying it's handcrafted, la 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 la, but these people are threatened with extinction, and there is simply no doubt about it. The only question is how much they can enforce upon the various companies. Says, we are not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Abuse AI to the detriment of our members. I think this is a very interesting sentence here, because they, of course, view the usage of AI, as indicated previously, as something good. They want to use AI, but they do not want to have the AI used against them or to replace them. Thus, that is the abuse. Whereas the paymaster, of course, is looking at the AI and going, why do I need you? Why can't I hire a bunch of, interns that work for chips and glass beads to read over the AI script to tell me what one is good and not, instead of paying you $20,000 an hour to produce something of equal, if not indeed inferior quality? See the House of the Dragon. When these companies get serious about offering an agreement our members can live and work with, we will be here ready to negotiate, and that's the thing right there. In essence, this is something we're going to see a lot more going forward as well, as AI becomes more commonplace. I guarantee you we will see this with McDonald's within probably 3 or 4 years, where McDonald's will begin moving almost entirely over to automated restaurants. Now, they already made a mess of the couple ones they did, largely because they went with too much of a mechanical solution rather than a robotic one, but I'm not going to get into that here. That is a completely different subject. But the argument is, of course, that we have a right to work. We have a God-given right to be able to do our dumb nonsense, and for you to pay us to do our dumb nonsense. This is going to expand into most businesses and most industries, where people will feel as if they have a privilege to be able to be employed and to be paid for services that, frankly, a machine could probably do better within a few years, if not even be able to do so already. And hey, ideally speaking, at one point, the absolute ideal endpoint of this, the ideal endpoint of automation overall, is actually to not necessarily replace people, but rather to enhance people, to make it so that we will have the productivity required to basically just give everybody fully automated space luxury communism. That is the idea, where the only currency really will be the energy required to create something rather than labor or even material costs. But we're a good, 100, 200, 300, 400 years away from that in all due likelihood. And there is going to be some ridiculous societal upheaval over this, as in essence, our entire society, and we have wandered way off the point now, but Jesus Christ, our entire society will have to transition from creating stuff like this to creating services. It will transition from having people be actors and entertainers to having people create specific things. You will no longer have an actor, you will have a person who creates movies on his PC with the aid of AI, to which you will have, as I've talked about previously as an example, 700 versions of The Lord of the Rings, and you can pick the one that is right for you. This one's 100% lore accurate, this one's 98%, this one's a little bit more action-oriented, this one's just funny, this one's memes, this one's actually a completely different thing, because it was made by Amazon, apparently. and so on and so on. And in the wider industries as well, we are going to eventually get completely rid of shop workers. In fact, if it weren't for the massive shoplifting epidemics in certain nations, we would probably already have largely replaced shop clerks in most civilized nations. Like, in Norway, for example, high-trust societies, you could absolutely get away with those little dumb bleepy machines, as the primary reason why people don't use them here is, well, because they're too old to figure out how they work. Unironically. And the reason why a lot of stores don't use it is, again, stealing. And manufacturing jobs as well. America in particular is going to have to go through an enormous automation drive over the course of the next 10 years, or the US is probably done with. The sheer amount of debt that the US has built up, and the necessity to actually pay off that debt, is going to necessitate a vast increase in production in the US. A second industrial revolution will be required, where the US will actually have to produce its own goods rather than being reliant upon China, which is another massive strategic risk considering the upcoming argument between those two nations. But again, the point is, everything's going to be taken over by AI. These little incompetent bastards, these little fossils right here, they are merely going to be the first ones. And hey, I for one cannot possibly imagine a better victim of our new AI overlords. So, until it comes from my job, which I'll probably be one of the later ones to go in all due likelihood, I'll be on the tail end of automization's absolute takeover of humanity because, well, I basically build myself a happy little cult of personality here. And cult leaders will be amongst the last to go. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.